Have you ever found yourself late at night, rummaging through boxes of old letters, souvenirs, or clothes that you just can't let go of? Decluttering at this stage in life isn't as simple as tossing out what no longer fits. It's a profound journey, one that beckons us to reflect on who we've been, who we are, and who we want to become as the years press on. Through treasured mementos, our possessions weave an intricate portrait of our past, and releasing them can feel like letting go of a piece of our identity. Yet it's also a powerful step toward freedom, a way to carve out space for fresh memories and renewed peace. If this resonates with you, please share your own story in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe for more insights on living well at every stage. 1. When the next generation doesn't want your treasures. Picture this. You've spent decades gathering keepsakes, maybe china sets handed down from your grandparents, photo albums meticulously arranged to capture every vacation, or a piece of furniture you saved for years to pass on. These objects are more than mere possessions. They're a tangible history of your life and the life of those who came before you. Then the sobering moment arrives when your children or grandchildren look at these items and simply shrug. They might say they have no room, or, worse, they might not even see the point of keeping them at all. It can feel like a heartache, as though the story you hope to preserve is suddenly unvalued. Yet the truth is often less personal than it appears. Younger generations typically move more, downsize earlier, and favor minimalism due to changing lifestyles. Apartments are smaller, mortgages are more expensive, and priorities have shifted in a digital age. In many cases, furniture that once held center stage in your family home is now too large or too old-fashioned for tighter, modern quarters. Meanwhile, the era of vinyl records or porcelain collections seems lost in a world of streaming services and minimalist decor trends. It's important to recognize that a lack of interest in these heirlooms does not invalidate your memories or the love behind them. The timeless value you see is still there. It's simply that your family may not share the same sense of nostalgia. Instead of feeling hurt or abandoned, consider having open and honest conversations with your children or grandchildren about what they do cherish. Ask them outright what is special or useful to them before you assume they'll want every keepsake. If you find that many of your longtime treasures go unclaimed, it might help to look at it from another perspective. You can choose to donate them to a local charity, sell them to a collector who truly appreciates their worth, or even give them to a historical society or museum if they hold unique value. In this way, you ensure the items you've loved for so long will continue a meaningful life elsewhere, one that honors your memories while lightening your emotional and physical load. 2. The myth of I'll need it someday. Have you ever looked around your garage or spare room and realized it's filled with items you're keeping just in case? It's a universal habit, that sense of possibility that someday, somewhere, you might need that old blender, those rusted gardening tools, or those spare linens you haven't opened in years. This simple phrase, I'll need it someday, can create a towering wall of clutter, slowly but surely, closing off physical and mental space. The myth persists because it appeals to our desire for security. By holding on to things, we convince ourselves we're prepared for every scenario. But in reality, many of these hypothetical moments never arise, and the emotional cost of living amidst piles of seldom-used objects can be greater than we realize. Each time we pass by a jam-packed closet or overflowing basement, we get a subtle reminder of all the shoulds and maybes in our lives. Over time, it becomes a source of stress rather than comfort. Beyond the mental strain, there's also a practical safety concern. As we get older, moving around a cluttered space can become hazardous, especially if your mobility isn't what it once was. Boxes stacked too high or pathways blocked by rarely used tools can turn a simple walk through the house into a game of careful navigation. By parting with items you realistically won't need, you help ensure your home remains easy and safe to move around in. A great first step is to identify the categories of belongings you've been holding on to. Take a slow, thoughtful approach. Decide which things genuinely add value to your life and which you've kept out of habit or fear of letting go. For each object, ask yourself if you could replace it later, or if you've gone a year or more without reaching for it. If so, it may be time to donate or discard it. Selling items online or through a community garage sale can help them find a new home where they remain useful. Remember, your peace of mind is worth far more than a dusty appliance you might never touch. By letting go of the burden of uncertainty, this nagging someday, you can open the door to a clearer living space and a more relaxed frame of mind. Up next, we'll look at another emotional weight that often holds us back from decluttering: the guilt and sentimental attachment to the past. 3. The weight of guilt and emotional attachments. Sometimes a china teacup isn't just a teacup. It might be a memory of your grandmother's kitchen, complete with the smell of freshly baked bread and the comforting sound of her voice. Or maybe it's a stack of letters tied with a faded ribbon, each one reminding you of a friendship that once sparkled with life. Letting go of these items can feel like betraying the very people or moments you hold dear. Guilt sinks in, whispering that discarding these objects is the same as discarding the memories and love they carry. Yet it's important to remember that what truly matters cannot be thrown away. Memories live in your heart and in your ability to recall vivid details about times gone by. No object could replace genuineness of feeling or the lessons you've learned from the experiences these items represent. When too many keepsakes start overwhelming your space, they might actually weigh you down, making it harder to enjoy your home or invite friends in for a chat. Instead of your house reflecting joyful memories, it can become a cargo hold of regret and clutter. That doesn't mean you must dispose of every sentimental item. A more balanced approach is to selectively keep the pieces that stir the deepest emotions or spark the fondest recollections. You could also pass meaningful items along to friends, neighbors, or organizations that will honor their story. Another way to preserve the spirit behind them is to create a digital record or a short video explaining why those objects are meaningful. This way, the love and history remain intact, accessible to anyone who cares to listen, even after the physical items are gone. Guilt can be a powerful but misleading emotion, telling us that we owe a debt to those who came before us or to the memories themselves. In reality, the best way to honor the past is often to live fully and freely in the present. Don't let possessions become obstacles. Recognizing that memories stay with you, no matter which items leave your shelves, can be liberating, offering a tangible path toward a home that celebrates who you are now. Next, we'll explore how our sense of self is reflected in what we own and what it means to let go of old identities. 4. Personal identity, hidden in the clutter. When you look around your home, do you see simple objects, or do you see the chapters of your life staring back at you? Each drawer, shelf, and closet can be a monument to who you once were, perhaps a career you spent decades building, a hobby you poured your heart into, or dreams you nurtured and ultimately set aside. It's natural to linger among these relics of the past because they remind us of the versions of ourselves we cherished or longed to be. However, holding on to objects from a life stage you've outgrown can keep you stuck in memories rather than embracing new possibilities. A closet crammed with corporate suits may recall a successful career, yet perhaps you're happier spending time volunteering or with grandkids now. Those paintbrushes you haven't touched in years might symbolize your creative spirit, but maybe you've discovered new passions or simply lack the energy for painting. Clinging to old belongings can unconsciously tell us that moving forward means denying what once mattered. In truth, your history stays with you, whether the physical remnants do or not. Reflect on what each item represents. If it evokes pride or positive lessons, consider whether there's someone else who could use it and carry on its story. If it brings disappointment or guilt, maybe it's time to let it go entirely, along with any lingering regret. By choosing carefully which mementos to keep, you honor the most vital parts of your history while making room for the next chapter. In letting go, you don't lose yourself. Instead, you free your present self from the weight of past roles and future what-ifs. You give yourself permission to continue evolving while still acknowledging the steps you took to arrive here. Coming up next, we'll explore why decluttering isn't just a one-time event, but an ongoing process that requires a steady blend of mindfulness and commitment. 5. A lifelong journey, not a one-time task. By now, you've likely realized that decluttering goes well beyond a single, dramatic purge. It's a decision about how you want to live each day and how you plan to honor your past without letting it overshadow your present. Even if you spend a week or an entire month sorting, boxing, and tossing, the flow of possessions doesn't simply halt once you finish. Gifts, mail, souvenirs, and well-meaning hand-me-downs all have a way of creeping back in. Unless you remain intentional about what enters your home and why, the same clutter can quietly reappear. That's why developing a steady routine is crucial. Some people swear by the one-in, one-out rule. If you buy or receive something new, you choose one existing item to part with. Others do a brief monthly review of areas prone to clutter, like kitchen counters or hall closets, so that things never pile up out of control. The key isn't following a specific rulebook, but creating a habit of mindful evaluation. Does this item bring me joy, usefulness, or genuine connection? If not, letting it go helps maintain a peaceful environment. It's easy to think this kind of vigilance might detract from life's spontaneity, yet the opposite often proves true. Staying on top of clutter means your living space is always ready to welcome friends, enjoy a new hobby, or simply relax without distraction. More than that, an ongoing decluttering mindset fosters gratitude. When you find contentment in the essentials, each new item you keep has a purpose, and every old object you release allows you to appreciate what really matters: your relationships, your health, and the time you have to pursue your passions. In the upcoming conclusion, we'll bring these ideas together and remind ourselves why the resolve to declutter is not just about freeing up space, but about living with a clearer heart and mind. Decluttering during one's later years can be bittersweet, requiring us to face the echoes of who we used to be, the people we've loved, and the memories that have shaped us. Yet it's also liberating to discover that freeing your home of unnecessary belongings can pave the way for a fresh sense of openness. The real treasure lies in seeing what remains, the moments you'll never forget, and the peace of today unburdened by endless clutter. Whether you choose to donate an old piece of furniture or let go of items because your children simply don't need them, every decision is a step toward greater clarity. The past doesn't vanish with discarded objects. Traditions live on in shared stories, tastes, recipes, and time spent together. In celebrating what truly matters, loving relationships, health, personal growth, you affirm that life has meaning well beyond any shelf or closet. If you take these lessons to heart, your home becomes more than just a place to sleep. It becomes a sanctuary that evolves along with you, reflecting not only who you've been, but who you are now, and who you're still becoming.